Hey guys, welcome back. So today I have a guest with me here, Mr. John Patton from the Gun Collective. How you doing, man?
I'm awesome, dude. Thanks for having me out. You know, It's always a good time when we get to mess around and do cool stuff and play with
cool new
neat
toys.
Things. Yeah.
Matter of fact, that's the whole point of this video, everybody, is the fact that John and I were kind of sitting around talking about what was fun and cool for 2015. And really, 2015 was a great year for new products.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
A lot of cool stuff. It was kind of a down market this year, meaning that gun sales kind of petered out a little bit. I think we're coming off that buying high that Obama has kind of stoked for his entire presidential term, becoming one of the world's best gun salesmen ever.
Yeah, I think he might be number one. Hopefully Hillary doesn't push that boundary too much further.
Oh, gosh. Don't even get me started on that, please. Please, no Hillary. But, yeah, we don't want to divert too much into politics, but yeah, 2015 was a great year for new products. We saw some really cool stuff, and we can't really cover off on all of those, so what we did was kind of distilled them down into what we think is perhaps some of the 5 most interesting, not even necessarily the best, right?
Sure.
But just the most interesting stuff that really got our attention.
It stood out to us. And you know, I always talk about innovation, and this year there was a lot of that. There was a lot of kind of pushing boundaries and trying new concepts, and I'm excited about it, man.
So let's get started. And talking about pushing boundaries and trying new concepts, first of all, there's a war going on. You may not know about this war. It's it reminds me, I'm an old fart, and I always got to say that in a video just to make myself feel better in the presence of young folks like yourself. I remember the beta and VHS wars.
Wow. Okay.
So
all right.
I remember nobody could really figure out which one was going to win. And so VHS, as we all now know, has been written in the annals of history.
You mean you got rid of your Betamax machine?
No Betamax machines. Ironically, all the news agencies kept it because it was a superior video format, but VHS won the war. Well, we're in the middle of a little war right now between M-Lock and KeyMod.
Yeah. Big time.
So people are just kind of, grasping for straws. Some folks are really back in KeyMod. Some folks are really back in M-Lock. And I think this year we saw something come to market that really kind of raises the bar, puts the peg a little higher for KeyMod, because M-Lock now has an advantage due to a new product from the Kinetic development group.
Yeah. KDG really came out of the box and kind of disconnected my jaw. I just... You know, just holy crap. It's a thought process that nobody had ever really done before. I mean, not only, they kind of started with their SCAR products, like this rail, the MREX rail, and then the cool stock adapter, and kind of ACR style stock. That was really nice. It's a huge upgrade for the SCAR platform, but then they took their M-Lock idea and turned it into something really special. It just looks like an innocuous little rail piece, but what's
magical about it is it just
go ahead.
It just clips in. You find an available M-Lock rail section, and you just line it up and push. I just recently did a video on this, actually, and bam. Now you got a 1913 rail that is welded to that rail. I mean, it's not just like kind of on there. That thing is on there.
And it's... A lot of people are like, well, does it come off? Does it do this? What if it gets dirt in it? And I asked them, that was one of my first questions.
Yeah.
I said, what happens if it gets dirty? Well, then it's stuck on the gun, and you have a rail that you can use. Oh, no.
Right. Go home and clean it later. Yeah. I haven't taken it out and drug it through the dirt or anything yet. I really just got exposed to it, but I've been really... taken back by the uniqueness of it and the unique approach that it takes to making a Lego gun. Here's my Atlas bipod. I don't want it on my gun. I want to shoot it as just a standard rifle.
Right.
I can not only get the bipod off, but I can get the whole rail section off. And I'm one of those guys that really hates unnecessary 1913 rails. I call them cheese graters.
Yeah.
And so if you don't want them on your gun, just unplug them. You know, and put your things like your bipod and stuff like that, rail sections, flashlights, whatever, on those detachable 1913 rails, and now you have really just click and go bits and pieces.
Yeah,
and when you're done, we don't want something on there. You have a nice smooth handguard.
They've kind of taken the adult Legos of ARs and anything with a key or a M-Lock section and taking it up another notch. And they also have some really cool optic mounts. We don't have any in front of us here, but
they're just now coming out.
Right,
we
just the optic mounts. They also have some 45-degree things that are coming. These guys are not playing around. They've got a whole bunch of cool stuff. The optic mounts really impressed me because it's just like a click on, and they're locked in. It's just like this, but with an optic mount. It's so cool.
I just posted an interview, guys. The video that's really close to this one. It's like 1 or 2 videos back. it was an interview with the Kinetic Development Group guys.
Yeah, yeah.
AJ, and we really showcased a lot of the products, including the new prototype scope mounts, the new 45-degree angle flashlight mount, for Surefire, or for Enforce, whatever you want. So okay, so that's it. The Kinetic definitely gets a mention in this video. Awesome stuff. Allows me to build my Lego SCAR. What I really like is when I did my review between the SCAR and the ACR, I hated the SCAR stock. Magpul still manufactures these. This is the original Masada stock, and bam, now it's on the SCAR, and it's rock freaking solid, and it just works great. So kudos to Kinetic, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what else we got over here. Now that's not even a gun product. That's just a straight up product. Let's grab a gun.
Let's do that. I like guns.
And I really like this gun.
This thing is really interesting.
This is the CMMG Mutant. Now, this guy was really technically announced at the end of 2014. They really didn't start to ship and actually show up in gun shops until 2015, so I'm counting it as a 2015.
Yeah.
I got mine in 2015, took it on a pig hunt, suppressed it. I have a Griffin Armament Recce 7 on here. You shot this thing today.
Yeah, we were shooting it earlier, and
really quiet for a 7.62 by 39 that's supersonic.
It kind of makes suppressed AKs look silly.
It does. A lot of folks say, well, I want this to have a gas piston. And I say, do you want to suppress it? Well, yeah. Well, what in the world do you want to put a gas piston on it? Because direct gas impingement is perfect for suppression because you get rid of the piston pop. This thing is just a pleasant rifle to shoot, suppressed. And far as a pig rifle, you got dirt cheap practice ammo, you got dirt cheap hunting ammo, and the gun runs unbelievably well. We're running it with Magpul AK mags, but I've tried it with just about every AK mag on the planet. It even works with 75-round drums, and this thing is yet to hiccup on me. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. I don't even like 7.60 by 39 ARs, right?
I think the problem with those is magazines. It's always been an attempt of making something work in a platform it was never designed for, and this was designed for AK mags from the ground up.
Right, so you see the real high cut on the magazine well. You're not trying to...
super easy to rock and lock. I mean, it's fantastic.
Big flapper release right here. The magazines just drop right in. It works with bake lights. It works with Magpul. They fit nice and tight. And really what's kind of unique about it also is the internals. They're beefed up. It's not just a standard. Because a lot of the 7.62 by 39 ARs use a standard 5.56 bolt, and they really have to hog that thing out where it's dangerously thin walls on that bolt. And not the case with this, man. It's like an AR-10 shortened, and it's just it's a tank of a rifle. And I've really had a good time with this gun.
I think a lot of people also kind of misunderstand where this falls. It's not an AR-15. No. It's not an AR-10. It's kind of an amalgamation of both, and it's the most beefy version of this gun that they could possibly make.
Right.
And
really, it's for somebody that really likes the ergonomics of an AR-15, but wants that dirt cheap shooting ammunition that really also likes the punch of the 7.62 by 39, because really the 7.62 by 39 is like a little mini 30-30. It's got a heck of it packs a heck of a punch. A lot of folks like the ballistics. It's good to 300, 400, 500 yards, but it's just a great caliber. Magazines are cheap, readily available. The ammunition is all over the place too.
Yeah, I really enjoy this thing. It's still got a lot to prove. It's still a relatively new platform, but I think conceptually, for me, this thing stood out this year. This is a really cool concept.
Yeah, loved it. Key mod rails, like to see an M-Lock rail available for it.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's key mod, M-Lock, whatever. We're still in the middle of that war. We don't know who's going to win yet. But I am kind of, because of Kinetic, I want to see an M-Lock on here now.
Agreed.
All right, so let's see what else we got here.
I'm sure we got something.
Let's go back to item and not necessarily firearm.
Okay.
Let's grab another item.
We got all kinds of cool stuff.
Thermal. All right, guys, how much... Woo! How much do you think this guy sells for? Tell them what it sells for.
Do you really want me to tell them? I don't know. They might all go buy them up, and then you won't be able to have any more.
I know, right?
So normally thermal is ridiculously expensive. Normally, right? It's absurd. This is, in the thermal world, affordable. This is $29.99, right?
Yeah, $3,000. It's an Armasight Predator, and this little guy is small, lightweight, full-featured.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have all the controls. You can pick your reticle, you can pick your color palette, you can do all sorts of great things with it, and it's $3,000. That's the same price as a third-gen PVS 14 or something. It's starting to push it down because night vision has historically been considered expensive.
Oh yeah.
Where night vision you would pay $6,000 for it a few years ago. Now it's down to $2,000 and such.
Right.
And now we're seeing thermal encroaching in on that, because thermal, I remember not many years ago, a good thermal sight was $30,000.
Oh yeah.
And we're talking 10 years ago. So now you're taking a look at those prices coming down where I used to think $8,000 was good. Now we're down to $3,000, and that's going to push the cost of night vision even lower.
Well, it's the same concept that you have with phones and things like that. The technology increases, it gets more affordable. Everybody, is taking that into their products and then delivering that to the end user. They're passing those cost savings on, and that's freaking awesome.
It's what's cool about it is the more of these they sell, the lower the price gets.
Yeah, because they can afford to pump the R&D
right.
and really push the boundaries to a point where everybody's going to have thermal, everybody's going to have night vision. I want thermal.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, I took thermal. I took the Zeus, which is the big brother to this one. I think when I got it was $8,000. I think they're actually down to $6,000. So the prices are dropping.
2 Gs.
And I had an amazing time. All the other guys I was hunting with was using night vision. They could see maybe 100, 150 yards. If the pig moved, you can pick them out with night vision. With thermal, they can't hide. I was seeing pigs 400 yards away.
Yeah.
I could spot them and say, okay, they're right. There's the pack over there. We can work our way over to them. Well, I was way past the range of night vision. And thermal really opens up a lot of possibilities. And thermal's good in daytime or nighttime. It's not a night vision scope. It's just, it's a vision enhancement device. If it radiates heat, it can pick it up. It can pick up such subtle differences in heat temperature that if I put my hand on this table and pull it away, you're going to see a very distinct handprint. And we're talking a fraction of a degree difference.
I think products like this are super, super important. Regardless of whether you buy one or not, I think the concept of this, I think the fact that they're pushing boundaries as far as pricing goes, I think that's really important for our industry.
Yeah.
The more we have people doing things like that, the better off we're all going to be. And maybe down the road, maybe another company pops up and competes with Armasight and even pushes the prices down even further. That's a good thing.
For us,
that is
as a consumer, it's an awesome thing.
It's a good thing. Well, here's the other thing. Competition drives innovation. And I want to see that. I want to see people constantly pushing boundaries. Sure. I mean, we saw the KDG stuff. That was a change. You know what I mean? The CMMG Mutant, that's a change. This is a change. This is all very good stuff and continues to push those boundaries forward. I love that.
I agree. Check them out. This is the Armasight Predator. All right, let's go back to guns, man. Here's a gun that I am totally digging this year, man.
So I get along really well with this thing.
Everybody gets along really well with this thing.
Yeah.
Kudos to CZ for bringing in the Scorpion Evo. Guys, if you haven't shot a 9mm pistol, it's available as a pistol. This is an SBR, so I've done the paperwork on it. I'm legally able to put a stock on it, so now it's a carbine. This little carbine is nothing short of amazing. I totally dig this gun. Not only that, now we're seeing enough of these being sold and the market being interested enough where we're seeing third-party manufacturers building things like QD mounts, and Yeti Works has this new pistol grip. They have a couple of them, but it gets rid of that goofy ergonomics. Let me show you really quick. Here's the factory grip. It has kind of a steep angle, and everybody complained about it.
Yeah.
And it has this weird hump at the end.
Yeah, really wacky.
And Yeti Works has this new pistol grip, which gets the rake down, kind of like what we're seeing the trend with AR-15s, the downward rake grips.
The vertical almost.
Very similar to that. It also gets your hand away from, if I still had my ambi safety on here, which I've removed, that's HB Industries. They make that delete kit.
Oh, cool.
So you can get rid of that
I
thing,
thought
that
that was
knuckle
factory.
grinder.
That's nice.
No. So if you would have fired this thing with the original ambi selector lever on, it would grind into that knuckle. It's really uncomfortable to shoot. So I've swapped out the pistol grip. I've put the delete kit on the HB Industries. I have some protectors here on the cheese grater on the 1913 rails. I have the Octane 9 suppressor on here from Silencer Co. They make an adapter for it. It has an oddball 18mm muzzle. But I mean, it's
of
really,
course it's cool as heck, and then it's got a wacky muzzle.
Oh, of course, you always got to have something special, right? But other than that, I mean, dead nuts reliable. When you break it down, it breaks down into 4 big parts. It's like the AK of 9mm sub guns. It's just an overall shootable, lovable little package. What do you think of shooting it?
You know, we again, this is something we shot earlier, and I had put a couple rounds before you had it as an SBR. I put a couple rounds through it, and it was okay like that. But now that I got a chance to really ring it out today, this thing is cool. All the controls are right where I want them. You know, the mag release is super easy. They're spring loaded. They come flying out of there. The bolt release is super easy to hit. They're nice, big, and it doesn't get in the way, which is, a lot of times when you get into bigger controls, they kind of get in the way, and you start knocking them into stuff. They've managed to tuck it in there really, really nicely, and it shoots the lights out. It's great.
And running this thing with subsonics, how fun is that, right? We were using some Freedom Munitions subsonic hush ammo.
Yeah,
and if you guys haven't tried that stuff out, order a couple boxes, try it out. phenomenal. We were
That stuff
shooting
ran really well.
147 grainers. We were walking, 30, 50, 60, 100 yards away, just listening how quiet this thing was. And it's just, you want to giggle.
Yeah.
You just want to giggle. It's so incredibly quiet. You can hear the springs of the gun working, and you hear the bullet bouncing down through trees and hitting the dirt going thud. I mean, incredibly well suited for suppression. You don't get a bunch of gas back in your face and stuff. Just a pleasant gun to shoot.
Going back to the innovation and all that sort of stuff, I mean, the Scorpion is not a new gun per se for them. It's been around for a while. This version is kind of, again, pushing boundaries. Right. We've seen guns like the MPX. We've seen...
Which is a good gun in its own right.
Right, yeah. Sure.
And it pushes boundaries as well.
I think we're seeing a rise in 9mm carbines, and that's really, really cool because it means that we're going to start seeing people trying to push boundaries and compete with one another and make a better, cooler product.
Right.
We saw the Zenith guns that we're going to talk about in a little bit. They're coming off of HK tooling, and it's awesome to see that again, because for a long time, for 2-3 years, it was 5.56 only.
Yeah.
That was it. You're getting an AR or you're not getting anything cool.
Right.
Well, now, look at this.
Right.
You can shoot affordable 9mm ammo in high volume and have a fun little gun.
Yeah. I totally a big fan of the Scorpion. I love this thing. It goes with me everywhere. Every time I go to the range, it's in a bag.
Yeah.
And
that thing was great to shoot.
I just have to shoot it.
I really enjoyed that.
So we got one more gun here, and this really is a shocker. Of all the guns we've talked about, this one came out of the blue on me. I've gotten a lot of requests to talk about it. I will talk about it in future videos, but Ruger really did something crazy.
The episode where I talked about this was still is one of the highest viewed episodes of my show since it's come out, because this thing is so interesting to so many people. This is the Ruger Precision Rifle. It's a multi-caliber. You can apparently swap it, right? Is that the situation? Can you swap it? Or is it just different versions?
They have different versions I know of. I mean, I know this one's a 308. I know it's available in 6.5 Creedmoor. I have yet to pull the trigger on one. We just got them into the shop next door.
Yeah.
I've never had a chance to shoot one. I mean, the minute they get them in, they sell. It's not like I can call Ruger and say, hey, Ruger, send me a gun. So I'm just waiting until we can actually get our hands on one. Again, this isn't even our gun. This is the shop next door. They let us borrow it for the video. All I can say is I don't even know how well this thing shoots. I've seen some early reports, like on the sniper's hide, of folks having really good luck with them.
Okay.
People that are getting them are reporting very, high marks.
Really?
The reason I wanted to feature this one in what was new and exciting for 2015 is it just started to hit the market, and it's such a radical departure for what Ruger's done in the past.
I love it.
This really caters to the tactical long-range shooting community, and what really gets me about this gun is the 6.5 Creedmoor. I'm a convert to 6.5 to Creedmoor, because originally I was like 308, 300 Win Mag, nothing else.
Right.
Only military calibers. And then somebody said, no man, check out 6.5 Creedmoor. It's cheaper to shoot, right? You can get a box of shells for $25, where a box of 308 match is going to cost you 30 or 40.
Yep.
Right? So it's less expensive to shoot than 308. But the Hornady AMAX 140 grain 6.5 Creedmoors consistently shoot out of every gun I fired it.
We'll have to try it out of one of these.
Consistently shoot sub MOA, way under. I mean, half MOA out of, like my DTA. It's one of my favorite calibers. You can put 5 shots in the size of a pinky. I mean, it's just sick. It's like a laser beam. And if the Ruger shoots to that degree, at the price point that we're talking about, holy cow, Ruger's hit one way out of the park.
I think the MSRP on these is like $13.99. I'm not sure.
We'll see what they're selling them for next door. They didn't put the price on it.
Okay.
But
I believe it's
right
in
at
that.
$1,000.
It's certainly under $1,500, and for something like this, for that price, is unheard of, especially from a huge manufacturer like Ruger. I mean, that's absolutely unheard of. They've got a bunch of really cool features: a side-folding stock, a normal like AR-style pistol grip,
AR-style rail system that is removable. I mean, I can see the bolts come off.
This is an AR-15 rail, I believe, from Samson, which is kind of interesting. I wish they went with an M-LOK again. The other cool thing that I really like is that it takes Accuracy International mags, and I believe it takes AR-10 PMags, which is incredible.
Yeah.
The fact that you can swap and use whatever you want, then you've got a cool stock.
Yeah, fully adjustable stock. I mean, it does all sorts of cool stuff.
Got a rail down here for your rear pod.
Yeah, I mean, for Ruger, it was a total shocker. Threaded barrel for suppression. When Bill Ruger was alive, this probably would never happened. I mean, he didn't even want to sell a 30-round magazine with a May 14. I mean, he was just that kind of a guy. So with with his unfortunate passing, Ruger has really evolved as a company. We've seen them do some crazy stuff. You know, they got into the AR-15 market. They got into the bolt-action long-range community market now in 2015. I mean, they're really moving forward, pushing the company forward quite a bit.
Yeah, and without having shot this, I mean, we can't speak to the truth of is it accurate, is it not accurate, is it a great gun? Conceptually, again, I've hit on this a few times. This is important. This is moving the chains for people to go, oh crap, well I guess we got to come out with an affordable precision gun now.
Right.
Which I want to see.
It's affordable, it's in calibers that people want, and it's from a company that people recognize as a quality arms manufacturer.
Yeah.
Again, this is the first time I've actually touched one.
Ooh, how do you feel right now?
So I know so little about it. I want to take it to the range, tear it apart, find out everything it's capable of, and I hope to do that hopefully in the next couple of months. I am waiting in line next door trying to get my hands on one. They have better contacts and distributors than we have at Copper. So.
Yeah.
I just want one of these to try it out and learn everything I can about it.
I think this is kind of one of those guns that everybody has to have. You know, it's going to be one of those things. Like I would love to have a precision rifle that's affordable.
Right.
You know, I don't.
Not
have
everybody
to
can pay $5,000 for a long-range bolt gun.
I don't have $5,000 for that. I would take this in 6.5 Creedmoor all day.
Yeah. If this comes half MOA with 6.5. That's treading on this guy's territory.
Right.
And this puts it in the hands of every long-range shooter, aspiring long-range shooter, and that's why it's important.
You know, it also allows a lot of newer guys that are maybe thinking about getting into long-range to start with something like this and maybe step up into something like that at a later date. You know, this is that kind of gateway drug into precision.
That's where I was going. I was thinking the same thing. Gateway drug. Yep. So kudos to Ruger for bringing this bad boy to market.
Huge.
So now let's talk about the honorable mentions. There's just so much cool stuff. We couldn't possibly touch on it all.
We couldn't get everything in.
So I'm going to reach over here and grab the other stuff and see if I can avoid tripping over.
I almost made a really horrible pun.
Let's not do that.
I'm not doing that for you guys at home. I'm not going to do it.
I'll just lay them out here. No surprises.
You're seeing some cool stuff. That's right.
All right. So here's the stuff that gets honorable mentions.
Yeah, we had to, we were talking about what are we going to put in this video? What are we going to do?
Right.
And it was like, well, crap, we can't fit it all in. So let's maybe take some stuff that is really cool and we still want to mention.
I'm going to set this over here. You picked this one.
Yes, I did.
I picked these two. I'm going to grab the RDB.
All right, let's start.
I just recently did a video on it. I don't know how I became the bullpup guy.
I don't know either.
Right. So I don't know how I got into bullpups. I never was a bullpup guy, but with the Tavor coming to market, it got my attention.
Wait, you like Tavors?
Yeah, I know, right? I like
that's
Tavors.
Unbelievable.
I like AUGs. There's my AUG hanging right over there.
Oh yeah, there it is.
I've had all the bullpups. My FS2000s. We were playing with my FS2000 today.
Yeah,
another
cool.
gun I take to the range all the time. I just love shooting the thing. So the RDB, this thing really again pushes the boundaries.
Yeah.
Right. Keltec, is one of those companies that really does, love them or hate them. they push the boundaries in terms of engineering, and the RDB really takes things a step further in the bullpup design. I talked about this in my initial video of this gun. We're not throwing the brass out the right or left-hand side. We're not throwing it forward anymore. They're throwing it out behind the magazine well. In that video, some of you guys said, well, what about the P90? P90 is a totally different animal. P90 has a 5.7
it's completely different
round that is perpendicular to the bore on a magazine that sets on top and it passes straight through. What they've done with the RDB is it's 5.56, fires from standard USGI magazines, and it ejects behind the magazine. No other gun has done that. No other bullpup has done that.
So I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. We were at the Iraq Vet shoot in Georgia. Tim had this around his body, slung up, and I said, "What is that?" I hadn't seen one, and he says, "Here," hands me a magazine, says, "Shoot it." All right, this is my kind of party. And I shot it, and I'm enjoying it. It's great. It's fun to shoot. And he goes, "Look down." And there's a pile of brass, and I went, all right, now we're talking.
Yeah.
That's the shortcoming of some other bullpups is, it's kind of right or left-handed, or it's a pain to swap, whatever. This, you don't have that. You don't have to worry about that.
And speaking of what John was talking about, the Iraq veteran shoot, guys, I'm trying to break this thing, okay?
He's not kidding.
I can't pull the trigger enough times on this thing. I've run tons of M855 through it, some ZQI ammunition. I've put Wolf Gold through it. I've been running everything. We were using USGI magazines. There's some scuttlebutt on the internet right now about it not running with USGI.
Yeah,
it runs fine with USGI. For us, I've run it suppressed almost at least 80-90% of the time. When you shot it out Iraq Veterans Shoot, I had the M4 SDK from Griffin Armament on here. It has these little cutouts, reliefs in the suppressor, which kind of match the pattern of the Keltec gun.
It looks cool. I mean,
looks
honestly,
really good on the gun, so it's always
looks
on
cool.
it. And it's really quiet.
Yeah.
So, you know, overall, this gun really shows a lot of promise. The engineering is incredible in it. It's just incredibly simple internally. I mean, fun gun. Right?
You know, I got to make one more point about this before we put it aside. A lot of other bullpups, when you shoot them suppressed, because that chamber is back towards your face, you get a lot of crap and gas and nastiness. I didn't notice that here.
No. The only time you really notice gas in the face is if you're shooting it really fast. You're doing mag dump after mag dump. It'll start.
Yeah, I did like
it just
2
kind of
and 3
builds
round
up
bursts.
and moves back. Most of the gas is coming out up here by the gas piston system.
Yeah,
and it'll work its way back. But if you're just out casually shooting it, pop, 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 pop. Nothing in the face.
And that's better than an AR because ARs are atrocious for gas blowback.
Yeah, they'll color you. So you go next, and then I'll go after that.
So you know, I've been called an HK fanboy before. There's a shocker. I like HKs. You know, I really like the MP5. I like the G36. I love their handguns. At least the newer ones. The VP9 is really cool. I have an HK45. I once called, and I still believe this, the HK45 is one of, if not the best, polymer 45 on the market. I absolutely love that gun.
I would agree with you when they release the VP45.
Oh my God. We're in trouble if they do that.
I know, right?
So that being said, this here is made on proper HK tooling. This is a Zenith, I believe it's a Z5P, is that right?
Yep.
I have to look on there.
Model. Yeah,
so basically, this is an MP5. It's not a clone in any way, and I think it's bringing back something that I missed. You know, you were stuck buying really expensive guns. Like I think this is like 15-ish, somewhere in that
range.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. And before, if you were going to buy a clone or have someone make one, you were looking at $2,000 and $3,000. And this is certainly not that. And we've been out shooting the crap out of them, of course, because that's how we roll. And it's fun, you know? Yep. And you kind of do this thing, you start here, and then you start moving into this. The recoil's really, really soft. It uses MP5 mags, and it's just
what's
cool.
really cool, all the products in the Z5 line will take a stock with the push of a pin. Right?
Yeah.
So
that's what makes
SBR projects, right? You form this thing, and you order a K stock from like hkparts.net. They're available everywhere. And once you get that Form 1 back, engrave it, push 2 pins, slide your stock on, and boom, you're off to the races.
You're right, and then you can run it.
SBR project gun.
You can run it suppressed. It's got a 3-lug
and 1/2x28 thread.
And 1/2x20. So not only did they say, hey, we're going to do 3-lug, but they're also doing 1/2x28 on there. So you can suppress it if you want, because you're going to want to.
Got to suppress everything.
Yeah, you got to suppress everything. And you know, I said the reason I kind of wanted this to be in here, but not necessarily like a holy crap thing, is because I'm waiting for the rifles. I really want the freaking rifles. I
Pistols
don't care.
are fun for you, but you want the rifle gun, the 16-inch barrel, and
yeah,
paperwork.
I want to shoot it in that format. I'll chop the barrel, whatever. You know, I think all of it's cool. They do a bunch of different models, you know, 5.56s, 308s, but they do one that really piques my interest in 9mm. That's I think it's an RS. It's basically
standard 8-inch barrel.
Yeah, model. It's kind of a longer barrel, and it's got more meat for my big sausage fingers and a little bit out back. And I think that one's really cool. That's probably a primary SBR feature.
Hopefully, we'll see those in 2016.
Yeah. So
we're getting really close to the
really
end of the
cool, guys. These are certainly something that we need to be paying attention to.
All right, last honorable mention. This is my high threat concealment holster. And this, guys, if you don't recognize it, is the Arsenal Strike 1. This is another gun that the reason I wanted to add it is, first of all, it's a brand new product. It's from the ground up, it's a new handgun design. What's really unique about the gun is it departs from the Browning action, which is used in just about every popular handgun. Your Glock, your M&P, your XD pistols, all the top popular handguns are using a Browning action, and this one is not. It's using
something completely different.
It's not completely new. In history, it's been done before, but it uses this little tiny block here. You notice the barrel moves straight back and forth, and when it gets to its rearward travel, the barrel doesn't drop down like a Browning action. This little lock drops down. So that, coupled with the extremely low bore axis, this is just a flat shooting gun. You know, you can just rip rounds with it. It doesn't jump around a whole lot. It's just a really, really incredible gun to shoot.
We were out at the range, and we kind of cleaned this thing up a little bit today and made it pretty again for the videos. And I'll tell you what,
it's dirty again.
Yeah, it's dirty because we shot it. We shot it a lot.
Yeah,
we shot it a lot. Right after Tim hands me the gun, and my face just lights up. And you know, I'm a handgun guy a little bit. You know, I'm not too crazy about it. Sure, it's cool, but what's kind of set me off was when I racked that round in, and it was just like ice. It was super slick.
It's like on ball bearing.
Yeah, it was so good. And then shooting it's got a decent trigger in it. The trigger a lot of guys really, really like. You know, and with a lot of guns with low bore axes, you have no meat to grab onto. You know, you're really like kind of just like a little sliver of traction on there. And this, you don't run into that. Shoots really, really nice, man. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, you can see how low it sets in the hand. So there you go, guys. You know, there's our top 5 picks of some of the most interesting guns of 2015, plus our because we couldn't come to a complete consensus. Our honorable mentions.
Top products.
John, I really appreciate you coming out, taking the time to do the video with us. It was fun, you know, going out shooting these guns today and coming up with that list, going through the gun room and going through what we had on the walls and stuff, and seeing what we really thought was some of the most interesting stuff from 2015.
Well, you know, it's been a lot of fun, man. We always have a good time hanging out, and we don't always get to make videos like this, so it's a good opportunity, and, you know, I love hanging out here, and, I mean, look what we're sitting in. Who doesn't want to be here, you know?
The Mac Arms room, yeah. This is a fun room. I get a lot of folks that come in, they come visit us here at Copper just to see the room. There's a lot more what you can't see, guys. It goes around.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, thanks again for having me out, man.
Absolutely, brother.
Seriously appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for watching. If you want to support the Military Arms channel, please swing by and check out Copper Custom. That's our online store. A lot of great products, great prices. And if you haven't already, please swing by and check out Full 30. We're both on there. It's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best firearms content creators and brought them under one roof, which is the full30.com roof. Again, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you guys soon.